I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliet.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry.
Hi, everybody. This is Apologies Accepted, the podcast. And I'm not Theo.
And I am not Juliet. I'm not.
And you never will be. Ha.
Ha.
And the burning question of the day is, what's shaking bacon?
Well, the politics.
little?
We'll save all that for later. What's more important is what's going on in my life. So I cleaned the pantry out.
Yay.
Yay. It took...
It needed it.
It totally did. And oh my God, it took me 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
And so, welcome to Texas. They have these things that the locals like to call tree bugs, and in my world are cockroaches. And they're big. They're like 2 inches long.
Yep.
And so I've lived in Florida as a kid, and I know how to cockroach proof a house, which is all your food goes in Tupperware.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. Everything goes into Tupperware. That's just how it is. Sorry. Too bad. Salt.
You've done that.
Tupperware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so that's what we've been doing. And of course, I call him the bug man, and he hates that. The bug man comes. He's the house at blah. But, whatever. And so when I was cleaning out the pantry, I found these 2 holes in the pantry that are, it's way overly complicated, that are there because there's some pipes going through them.
Okay.
Right. And I was like, oh, look at this. So I bought some foam filler. Guess what? The cockroaches are gone.
Really? Interesting.
They've been getting access into the pantry. I mean, gone over the last couple of days, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're on vacation, so I'm not celebrating yet. But cool. So it took a long time to clear out the pantry. And I had food in there that had expired in 2011.
That's amazing.
I mean, spices when I say food. It's not like it was, but
eggs.
It wasn't chicken. So yay. And let's see, made a tart. So that was fun.
What kind of tart?
I made a pear tart last night, a pear raspberry
delicious.
tart. And
yay.
It was so good that James said, this is the best pastry I've had in my life. Where did you get it? And I said, I made it. And
wow.
He did not believe me.
Really? That's amazing.
And then I said, do I really look like the type of person whose self-esteem is so low that I would have to lie and say? And he said, yes.
I'm nodding. Yeah, you would, but not to James.
I
to
made
someone
it.
else, maybe, but you totally would. But I believe you that you made it, and I believe you that it was delicious.
It was pretty good. I'm going to say it's amazing what a lot of butter and a little bit of flour will do.
Fantastic.
Let's see, and then politics, which we will be getting to, and that's it. And so it's been a week of self-care.
Oh, good.
Right, baking and cleaning and sort of plotting out the future, building a bomb shelter, that sort of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. What about you? What's shaking, bacon?
Nothing at all. Post-election malaise, I guess, just kind of sitting around. I did roast a turkey, so I cooked something. That was something I did. And I'm going to make a spice cake. I was going to make it yesterday, but I didn't get around to it. So there you go. But I will do it today, I'm pretty sure. And got to do some work today. Other than that, I've been doing nothing pretty much. So we could talk about politics if you want.
I don't want to talk about politics. I don't. Let's hit it. All right. Let's just,
A miserable election. We're so disappointed and heartbroken over the results of the election. I don't know what else to say other than that, except that I was talking to Theo previous to the podcast about whether or not I wanted to cut off certain members of my family who probably voted for Trump. A couple I'm 99% sure did, and some I'm not so sure, but suspect. And some of them have been really good friends over the years. And honestly, I think there's only one cousin that did not vote for Trump, that voted for Kamala.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. So
Such a fucking soy boy. Oh my God.
Most of them I don't keep up with anyway, so it's not like cutting them off would be anything different.
Right.
But like I said, like one of them in particular has been a friend over the years, and it would be challenging to cut them off. And then there's my mother, who I'm 99% sure voted for Trump, if she voted, which I don't know if she voted or not, but she probably voted by mail or whatever. So that gives her the opportunity to make a bad choice easily. So I don't know. So I was saying to Theo that my mother is like 90 years old, and do I want to cut her off for voting for Trump at her advanced age? You know, do I even know that she voted? I mean, do I want to ask her what goes on and what happens when you have friends and family who differ from you so greatly? And it's not just a matter of politics. I mean, politics impacts your everyday life. And,
sure.
And as they say, politics can be a matter of morality. And I think that's certainly the case in this election. And do I want to be close to people who hate everything, apparently, that I care about? And the answer is, really, I don't. So where does that leave me?
Yeah, it's just, it is such a big conversation, right?
Right.
And there are so many different answers. It is kind of situational, but then also it's not, right?
Right.
And so I look back, it's not like this is my first election rodeo, to mix some metaphors here, right? And so I've had family members who voted for Bush.
Yeah.
I had family members who voted for Reagan.
Yeah.
Right? I've had family members who have always voted Republican, period, full stop. It just didn't matter. And never once previously did I ever stop and think, I can't be friends with you.
Right.
Right? I did think things like, oh gosh, it's too bad we disagree so greatly on this one issue, right?
Right.
Be it like, I don't know, public services, et cetera. But I never thought that those people were, what's the word I want? Because, I'm trying not to really, this election cycle has made me take a step back and say, I cannot live in a world of black and white.
Right.
Right. And by that, I don't mean races. I just mean absolutes. I cannot live in a world of absolute certainty. This is absolutely good. That's absolutely bad. And there is no middle ground. Right.
Uh-huh.
That's not life. It's not how things work. Blah. But then it kind of is because, not to go extreme, but then we've got Hitler. Right. And so could I find common ground with a Nazi? Okay. Well, we both need oxygen. But what about political affiliations?
When people judge you and the things that you care about and the things that you are, for example, if people are adamantly opposed to gay marriage or adamantly opposed to homosexuality, how can you not say that's not black and white? When I mean, how can you not cut those people out of your life, or how can they not cut you out of their lives? Is my question. How can they hold that hypocrisy in their heads at the same time as?
Right. And so in their world, it's not so, okay. So here I am. I'm pretending I know things. Right. Right. But let's pretend I know things. In their world, it's not, oh, you're gay and I hate all gay people, or I dislike homosexuality or whatever. So therefore you're not in my life. It's, oh, you're my cousin, or you're my brother, or you're my neighbor. There are times I have needed your assistance. Can you walk the dog? Can you catch my mail? Can you, right? There are times when you're convenient for me. And so you as a person, I accept into my life, but all the other gay people in the world should be stuck in a concentration camp. You, however, need to be in my life so that you can keep walking my dog or getting my mail or watching my house when I'm away, right? And for those gay people who particularly, not even gay, right? Let's broaden it. For those women, for those people of color, for everybody, right, who is afraid.
Yeah.
There is kind of that impulse of, I'm going to be super nice to the people that hate me. And so maybe when they beat me, they won't beat me that hard.
I think that's optimistic. And I think your idea that the people in your life who are tolerating you because you do good things for them would not send you to a concentration camp is optimistic. That's maybe I'm.
Oh, I think they would send you, right? But you'd be one of the last ones they'd want to see get onto the train.
Know about that, but maybe you could be right.
I mean,
I feel very negative about the whole thing, especially right now.
It's easy and it's understandable, right? Yeah. To do that. James and I fully expect gay marriage to be on the chopping block. And so we double checked with our attorney to make sure that our wills were set up in such a way that we weren't relying upon marriage to transfer goods from one to the other, right?
It's terrible that you have to do that.
But, more, hey, stranger I just met on the street, here's everything I own when I die, right? Yeah. That's the wills that we have. It's so great, and the attorney was like, oh, yeah, of course, no. And that's how we went into it, because this is something we did recently. And so we sort of knew that the political winds might blow in a different direction. And, she said, really, the only place you guys are going to take a hit will be in taxes. Because there's a different tax set up for married people as there is from like, hey, neighbor or friend, right? And you pay more taxes if you're not married. Yeah. And I don't know, man. We'll just say it's going to be a very different world. But I hope I'm wrong, right? There's a trend on TikTok and on Twitter where people such as myself, como yo, right, are saying things like, they're not even saying things like, they're saying, I hope you get everything you voted for.
Right, I've heard that, yeah.
Right? Yeah. And Trump supporters are angry when they hear that.
Yeah.
Right? But they're right to be angry, because what we're saying is, I hope you get punished.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you get punished in the way that you want to punish other people.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. And so, same thing. I have relatives in my family who I know were Trump supporters, right? I haven't spoken with them since the insurrection, because for me, I'll say extended family, no one in my immediate family is a Trump supporter. But for extended family, it was a lot easier just to say, hey, that's not going to fit into my life.
Yeah.
That kind of a belief.
Right.
Did you see me at the Capitol when Hillary lost to Trump? No.
Right.
Did you see me threatening people? No.
Right.
Right. But it's okay for you to do that, right?
Yeah.
And here we are, right? Who's going to be certifying the election results? Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
On January 6th. People are going to be storming the Capitol to prevent her from passing the baton to Trump? No. No, we'll be out on the street, maybe marching and stuff like that, but not full-on political violence. And so I guess that, for me, starts to become the dividing line where I say I can't live in this world of absolutes, black and white. Politically, I'll clarify, I don't think there's any pro-child abuse.
Right.
Right. And so it will get down to who supports political violence and who is just selfish, right? I want taxes. I want taxes. Or who's misinformed and ignorant. I don't want to use, I don't call people stupid. So, who's willfully blind or whatever, right? I mean, it's very easy to bash Trump supporters if you're Theo. Right?
Yeah.
Because I just don't understand that type of mindset.
Thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to, because half the country
is stupid, in my opinion. I know you just
let half the country come and sue us. They are stupid.
They're pretty stupid.
Actually,
stupid, willfully ignorant, selfish, everything you could possibly say. And I've seen people on Reddit and TikTok say, well, how can you say that half the country is stupid? And well, I mean, it just seems to be obvious. That's how I can say it.
Yeah, there's there's a girl on TikTok, and her name is, well, I won't say her name. And so she posted a thing where she's like, I supported Trump and my family cut me off. And crying a lot, kids in the background, right? And little kids in the background, right?
Sure.
And they're like, Mommy, don't cry. I'm like,
oh,
lady,
that's terrible.
Maybe you could have spared your children seeing their mother crying, right? Or maybe you just need an audience 24/7. You are on TikTok. And she was very much like, they cut me out because of my political beliefs, and I didn't cut them out when Biden won, and blah, blah, blah. And then she said, this will be my last post on politics. But guess what? It wasn't. There were a couple of others that followed that one, and she was real fucking happy clappy about Trump. And lady, let's check in with you in about 3 years' time and see how happy clappy you still are.
Yeah.
But, the difference there, I will say, to answer her question, why she didn't cut her family off when Biden won and they cut her off when Trump won, is the harm that is done by the political leader.
Absolutely.
Right? And the harm that is coming to this country, and I want to be a fearmonger, but
it's going to be hard for a lot of people. That's all we can say about it. We don't know how hard yet, but it is going to be harder.
Let's put it this way. I don't have children, so do away with the Department of Education. I don't give a fuck. Right? Whatever. I have to pay for my children to go to school. Great. Go ahead. If I don't have to pay taxes for your kid to go to public school, give me that sweet, sweet 75 cents a year I've been spending on your kid. Right?
Right.
I mean, come the fuck on, everyone.
Well, it's detrimental to society, but I know you know that, so.
What?
If we don't pay for education, then people don't get educated. And if there's no education for the poor people, then poor people don't get educated, and they make poor decisions like voting Trump.
Like voting for Trump, yeah. So
exactly.
Clearly, our educational system has failed.
Yes, it has.
And so, I don't know, right? Or just going back to all this, I have health insurance.
Right.
I don't need the Affordable Care Act right now. I may need it at some point in the future, right? But today I don't. So terrific. I don't have Social Security coming in. I got my money. I'm sure that's going to go away. Will that affect me at some future, right? Mm-hmm. But future Theo can figure that one out. I always thought I was going to die working in a donut store anyway, so fine.
It's not too late.
Thank you for that vote of confidence. And I like donuts, so.
Yeah, who doesn't like donuts?
Yeah, everybody. That's why there'll be donut stores in the future. We'll all be working in them, selling each other donuts. So a lot of these things that are going to be pain points will not be pain points for me directly immediately. Yes, I will be pained in the future when people are a lot less educated, right? It's going to, but, I don't know, man.
I mean, that's why we voted for Harris. So we did our part. We did what we could do, I think. I don't know, maybe we didn't go out and knock door to door, but I mean, that's not safe. I can't go around knocking door to door and get shot or whatever. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, I mean, I did what I could do.
We gave money. We did things like that. So.
We gave some money, voted, right?
Yep.
Made sure that I shared with people why I thought Harris was a better candidate than Trump. Yeah. Right? Now, admittedly, I was talking to my friends who also hold those same opinions. A little bit of an echo chamber. But yeah, and so back to this question of which everybody, this is relevant to our story today, right?
It will be.
Which is this idea of cutting people out of your reality and not offering them services or assistance or friendship or anything whatsoever based on their political beliefs, right? And for those international listeners who maybe are not, I mean, how are you not clued into American politics at this point? In broad strokes, maybe you don't necessarily know details. it's just that, again, it just gets back to political violence and political harm, right? And that's what we have to look forward to. Hope I'm wrong. I can't wait. Please, 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 please. Universe, Goddess, God, Jesus, Mary, Joseph, the donkey you rode, every motherfucking thing. I hope I eat these words.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope there's this beautiful golden age, and then, oh my God, I was so wrong. It really was all the illegal immigrants in the country. By the way, I don't believe people are illegal. They're undocumented. Right. I'm using their language. But it's not. It's not. Yeah. It's not. It's just fear the white culture has at seeing their power diminish.
Chicken shit bastards.
And as a white person, I'll benefit. So maybe I just say, yippee, yippee, hooray. But I don't. I don't say that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we are. Depressed.
Dismayed.
Dismayed. We can talk about our story now if you like.
Could we just go lay down in the street and wait for a bus? All right, let's talk about our story and see what's up.
So this story comes from CBS News. And in this story, Lieutenant John Rogers, a 20-year sheriff's patrol commander in Clark County, Ohio, which contains Springfield, Ohio, made several interesting statements in several posts on Facebook last week. In one post, he supposedly wrote, "I am sorry. If you support the Democratic Party, I will not help you." Another said the Democrat Party, so whatever. Another said, "The problem is that I know which of you supports the Democratic Party, and I will not help you survive the end of days." Which is a mystery to me because, okay, if it's the end of days, no one's going to survive unless you're one of Satan's crew, right? Because supposedly the good people go to heaven and Satan's team stays on earth. And why would you help someone survive the end of days if they're good people or if they're bad people? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, another post that he supposedly wrote said that people would need to, quote, provide proof of who you voted for if they asked Rogers for help. The sheriff's office says Rogers, who has commanded the department's road patrol, would remain on duty with a written reprimand for violating the department's social media policy. I mean, come on. That seems like a slap on the wrist to me.
It's totally a slap on the wrist. I mean, you got written up at work and then, you get 3 write-ups and then you could get fired or you could
probably not even fired. But I mean, that's basically him saying, I'm not going to do my job. And then if I went out in public saying, I'm not going to do my job, I probably would get more than a written reprimand. And a written reprimand, I don't know about the police, whatever. But a written reprimand doesn't really mean anything to me. So, I mean, I would be, if I got a written reprimand, I would be ashamed and horrified. But I think it probably wouldn't have that big an impact on my career. But who knows?
Having been written up once at work?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. The mountain of shame that I heaped upon myself was far worse than any. Was it as bad as being fired? No. But was I embarrassed as fuck? Yes.
Yes.
Right? However, did I forget about it within a week? I sure did.
And probably he did too. He may have been embarrassed, but he probably has forgotten about it already. Clark County has been in the spotlight since Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump amplified false claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield were eating people's pet dogs and cats. I mean, this whole story has got a ridiculous thing in every sentence. So just to think that somebody would claim that immigrants were eating dogs and cats, to think that Donald Trump would amplify those claims, it is beyond belief. A sheriff's statement said that this dude's posts do not reflect the office's mission and values. It is understood that while these comments are highly inappropriate, they in no means reflect the Clark County Sheriff's Office delivery of service to all our community, the statement said. The community has a right to be upset over the actions of Lieutenant Rogers, and he, as well as the Sheriff's Office in general, will have to work even harder to replenish the trust of members of our community. What does that even mean? Nothing. Rogers formally responded to the statement, writing in a letter in his personnel file that he does not recall writing the post or taking them down, and was alerted to them when a coworker asked if he was okay, the Springfield News-Sun reported. How embarrassing. Rogers wrote that he did not find the posts on his page when he searched for them, and that the first time he saw them was during a meeting with a department official, the first time he saw them after he wrote them, presumably. Rogers says he sometimes takes a prescribed sleep aid that can cause him to send out-of-character texts, phone calls, or other forms of communication as a side effect. Now, this I can relate to.
I was going to say...
This is the one thing in this story that I can understand. I have taken, I don't know what it was, Valium or Ativan or Xanax, and ended up buying like 5 pairs of neon orange leggings on Amazon, and totally did not remember doing it until they showed up in my mailbox. And like, why the fuck did I buy these? So I totally get it.
Anybody who is familiar with Ambien, which I think is probably one of the more popular sleep aids / prescription sleep aids, is also aware of the stories of, I drove naked to my children's school to pick them up. I don't have children. Those stories litter the internet, and I have lived
great joy to everyone
through one Ambien experience, not my own.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. We had a guest staying with us a friend / coming to visit, who took Ambien and takes Ambien and came into our bedroom to wake me up to tell me that there were high school girls in the living room and that I needed to get them out of the house.
Oh, my God.
Because all they did was make fun of my friend and laugh at my friend. I'm going to keep this gender neutral on purpose. And sorry, everybody. I know it's going to be fucking annoying. And that they had pushed my friend into the wall.
Oh, no.
While mocking my friend.
Oh, my God.
And my friend was afraid.
Oh.
And I went down into the living room
to look for the high schoolers.
Not knowing that my friend was on Ambien that came out the next morning. Right. And next door to us, there was the story's only going to get longer. There was an Airbnb. And upon occasion, there would be people who would get confused as to which house they were staying in and would show up at our front door. Right. It happened 2 or 3 times. Right. In the course of 5 years. Right.
Okay.
And we did once have somebody walk into our house.
Wow.
Thinking it was the house next door.
Wow.
At like 10:30 at night.
Jesus.
Right?
That's scary.
And so it wasn't outside. High school girls and laughing and pushing, that I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And also I was like half asleep. And there was a hole in the wall that was probably about like 2 to 3 feet big. It was the size of a torso.
Oh my gosh.
But there were no high school girls, right?
Right.
And so what came out the next morning was somebody takes Ambien.
Yeah.
And my guess was they just slipped in, or however they were having their hallucination, and they fell into the wall hard.
Oh my God.
And so I have experienced firsthand the crazy making powers of Ambien, right?
That's crazy.
Well, not taking Ambien myself. Brag.
Secondhand. Yeah.
So I believe this piece.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I don't think it is out of character.
Right.
I don't think it's going to change your political and moral views to the extent that you're going to say shit like this when you don't believe it. Like, I mean, I did order orange leggings, which I normally would not order, but is there a side of me that wants orange leggings? Probably. I'm sure I had a great idea for them.
Would you ever wear leggings?
Leggings, maybe, but orange, no, not orange.
But I mean, so some of, we'll use this leggings to equal like not helping people that need help because of political beliefs. But so there was a core truth in your orange leggings.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
there was some whim that I had.
And then something was aspirational.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I wish I was the kind of girl that would flash orange every now and then.
Leggings.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm totally not. But it was not out of character, and I don't believe that his texts were out of character either. And he said that as soon as he learned about the messages, he deactivated his Facebook account and stopped taking the medication. So smart. Mike Young, the county's chief deputy, told the newspaper, "We've been in this battle over the last few months with the attacks on the Haitian community and other immigrants, and we protect people's rights, and we don't support the conduct to the contrary. I can't go back in time and take the posts away. The lieutenant made the post, and he has received consequences, however minimal, for that." Clark County is not the only Ohio county dealing with controversial statements made by law enforcement officials on social media. Ohio is a shithole. Sorry, Michelle, you live there. It kind of is a political shithole. In Portage County, a sheriff was accused of intimidating voters last month after Republican Sheriff Bruce Zukowski posted on social media that people with Kamala Harris yard signs should have their addresses written down so that immigrants can be sent to live with them if the Democrat wins the presidency. Fuck you. Whatever. I mean, I'm happy to help immigrants, and they can come live with me for a little while if they need to. But the whole thing is ridiculous. The fact that police officers are saying this kind of thing is completely unforgivable. So hopefully it's not an indication of what we have to look forward to after January.
It's an indication of what we have to look for. Well, there won't be any immigrants.
Well, that's true.
Except white ones.
Ship them all back to wherever the fuck they supposedly came from. Yeah, white immigrants, there'll be plenty of people from Norway and Sweden.
Yeah, America will become the last great refuge for white.
Yeah, terrifying. So that's my story. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add. I'm just going to sit here and sulk.
Well, so yes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be more than stammering and like, oh, we should all try and get along because, we should. But so.
Hate the sin, love the sinner.
Then don't say. So this is the piece where, so this morning James was like, what are you guys talking about today? And then I told him and he was like, oh, yeah. And what about that FEMA worker? And I was like, yeah, I'm familiar with that story, but I don't know. I think that might just be a story in social media. I haven't found out if it's true or not. So I need to investigate that. But yeah, and I kind of doubt it that it happened, right? So here we go. Here's what I can share.
This story.
Okay, yes. So the House Oversight calls on FEMA director to testify after a FEMA official tells workers to avoid homes with Trump signs.
And was this in Florida?
And it was in Florida.
Okay.
And it was apparently in October, and it took place in Lake Placid, Florida. And this is something that actually did happen. I thought that it was just a little rumor that maybe took place in social media. And so House Representatives Oversight Committee has launched an investigation into FEMA after an employee was terminated. That means fired.
That's serious.
Yep, that's more serious than written up.
Yep.
For instructing hurricane relief workers in Florida to avoid homes with Trump flags.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that is bad. That is wrong. That is not good. It is politically, what's the word I want to use? Harmful, right? Or it's just harmful, right? But it's bad politics. However, let's also remember that it was Trump supporters that said that they were going to be shooting FEMA workers on sight.
Yes.
Because the federal government's evil. And we don't need your stinking help, right?
I see.
And so I imagine, and I do think that person deserved to be fired, right?
Right.
However, I don't think that came from a place of, I don't like your politics, so you're going to die.
Right.
Right. I think that came from a place of, you got it. That is what Theo thinks. However,
interesting.
It did happen. A FEMA worker did instruct staff not to approach homes with Trump signs. And so that's the sort of America we don't want to live in.
Exactly.
We don't want to live in a place where your yard sign determines what sort of social services you will or will not accept. or receive.
And this is where we are better than the Trumpers.
Well, so yeah, right? And that's why I hate
politics
that.
Makes a difference. Yes.
It's so hard being good. It's such a burden. And so yeah, I'm going to say so yeah. And then that's that.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you know, you and I were speaking pre-show and we were talking about how it would be difficult to have a conversation with somebody across the political aisle because my go-to response is lecture.
Right.
Right. Pull out, I was going to say a billboard. I meant blackboard, but sure, pull out a billboard on a giant sign to show people how wrong they are and how right I am. Right.
Yes. And my response is to get angry and then cry, which is not helpful.
Also works. However, that's not a conversation, right?
No.
And so maybe what I need to do is, and this is fucking painful, is listen.
Yeah, I see.
Listen to their concerns. Listen to why do you think that way? And instead of being, oh, you're an evil racist, you're a Nazi, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, blah, blah, blah. Just be like, you're a human being and your heart beats the same as mine and your blood is just as red and probably just as delicious. So, yeah, but I mean, I could maybe have that conversation with the alternate version of me, MAGA Theo, right? But I couldn't do it with somebody who was gloating. I couldn't do it with somebody that was like, and that's why Democrats suck. I don't care about your reasons why Democrats suck. I care about your reasons to help me understand not where I'm wrong, but how I can see your point of view.
Exactly.
Right. Then I get to lecture you.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not going to be having any of those conversations just because of what I said. I would get angry and then start to cry. And that would convince no one. So until I figure out a way to reasonably and logically and calmly have those conversations, I'm not going to be having any. And I'll just be cutting people off right and left.
Or maybe rather than the cut off. So I have a cousin and I love my cousin, right?
Yes.
I only see her every couple of years.
Right.
Right. And I know her heart, to use some language, right?
Sure.
And I know that she has voted many times in ways that I approve of.
That's good.
But I also know that there are probably times where she voted in ways that I would not approve of.
Yeah.
Right? And of anybody on the planet that I could have a conversation with, it would be her.
I see.
Right? I don't know if she did vote for Trump or not vote for Trump. But then I have this question in my head of like, all right, let's say you found out that she did vote for Trump. Would you cut her out? And it's like, oh, that's my favorite cousin. Sorry, all you other cousins. And so I don't know that I would, right? And that's where, unless you said something like, well, there's just too many N-words running around, then I might be like, she wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But if I uncovered something that was absolutely, like, God, I hate Jews. Get your hands off my money. So maybe then, right? If there was some new world order thinking happening. Yeah, that if there's something about you that I don't know, then, but I feel like I know you, and so you're not going to get cut out just if you did vote for Trump, but you are going to help me understand how you can justify that vote when you had a really nice alternative. Yeah. Yeah.
Agree. I'm with you.
Yeah. So, oh, good. My cousin will be really happy to know. Juliet supports my continuing friendship with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, all over Twitter, and again, I keep calling it Twitter. I will never call it the other name. Stupid. But it's also time for me to leave Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Long past time for you to leave, Theo.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I left a long time ago, and I honestly don't miss it. It's not the same as it used to be. So
it's not.
Miss it at all.
Blue Sky, I'm going to say, is the early Twitter.
Okay,
there's a lot of that vibe happening.
Cool.
I have a pass to offer you if you don't have one.
Oh, yes, I would like one.
It's a free sign up. Fantastic. Okay. I will be doing that immediately after the show. Watch, 5 years from now, you'll be like, where are you going to...
What about Blue Sky?
Yes. And so, me gusta, Blue Sky. I like it.
Awesome.
It's very positive. Twitter has become a right-wing...
cesspool.
Fucking... Cesspool's a good word. But there are those voices still that I followed that, like Mueller, she wrote, that offer insightful political analysis, and they are liberal and blah. So they're still there, and they are posting, and it's just hard for me to walk away from that still. But there's a lot of talk on Twitter about Trump cheated in the election, and it's just terrible. God. And here's the conspiracy theory that, wait a minute, this is just the 2020 bullshit trotted out, but we lost.
Right.
Some of that was brought up this morning in my living room, and I was just like, that's not a thing. They didn't cheat.
Don't make it a thing.
But how can so many people vote for a Democratic senator and a Democratic governor and a Democratic blah, blah, blah? They can. Somebody can be pro-choice and vote for Trump.
Yep.
Because you can delude yourself into believing anything that you want. Well, he's not going to make abortion a national ban.
I just want eggs to be cheaper.
I didn't hear it. It sounded like you said, that's the stuff that makes me cheaper.
No, I said I just want eggs to be cheaper.
Oh.
That's all I care about. I don't care about this pro-choice nonsense.
And on TikTok, of course, there are those people that have their little Excel spreadsheets in the background, and they're like, eggs are $2.89 a dozen right now. They're going to check in 6 months. Gasoline is $2.99 a gallon. We're going to check in 6 months. Yeah, all that bullshit's going to be up. Oh, well, I mean,
there are people that do that. It'll be interesting to look in 6 months and see how much more expensive things are than they were today. But yeah, it's not the way I'm going, though. Secret. And I'm telling you now, right? Yeah.
Make your big purchases now.
Okay.
Right?
Buy my car now.
We need a new roof.
Oh,
We're getting a new roof.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it after January. So I got to do it now. I mean, I need a new roof, right?
Yeah.
You need a car? Get your car. This bullshit about like, stock up on beans. Sure, stock up on beans, stock up on rice, stock up on your perishable items. That's not what really
matters. It's the really expensive things that are going to cost you a lot more.
But yeah. I
agree.
That's the big secret. Do that now. And that is a little bit of being a panic merchant, right? I was going to say panic merchanting. Sure, but that's not a verb. That's being
mongering.
Thank you. That's a better word. Yeah. And so I don't want to do that, but at the same time, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, why not?
$10,000 roof is going to be...
Get a roof.
Get it.
Do it now.
Get it while you can afford it.
Get it while you can afford it. So should we look at the apology?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
We forgot to look at the apology. So I just remembered. So, okay. So this guy Rogers said in his statement, which was obtained by WHIO-TV in Ohio, I know I cannot apologize enough, and my apologies may seem empty, but I will continue to apologize as long as necessary. I know it will be difficult for the public to trust me, but I will do everything in my power to start mending that trust. I apologize from the bottom of my heart and want to ensure our community I will always serve to the best of my ability and strive to do better. I want to ensure the citizens in our community that I've always treated everyone with dignity and respect, no matter our differences, and will strive to show them I can do better. So, I mean, that's kind of a nice apology in a way. I wonder if somebody got to him and made him say these things, or if the PR department of the police office, here we go again, the police department made him say these things, or if he really meant it. So we'll never know the intention, so we can only look at, was there an expression of regret? Yeah, I think so. Was there an explanation of what went wrong? Not in that apology in particular, but he did say that he was taking whatever it was he was taking. So, okay, we'll give him that. Was there an acknowledgement of responsibility? I mean, he said he was taking something.
Sort of, but not directly.
Not a real acknowledgement of responsibility, so I'm going to give that a no. There was a declaration of repentance. There was an offer of repair. I'm going to strive to do better. I will always treat everyone with dignity and respect. I will strive to show people I can do better. Okay. And the request for forgiveness, not per se. So do I accept this apology? Well, let's rate it first. I'm going to give this apology, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Look at you. Aww.
What do you think?
So I was going to give it a 6, and then I was like, I'll give it a 5. Yeah. And
that's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good apology. Not a great apology, but it's a good, solid apology. 5.5.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Slightly better than average.
5.75. So awesome. And I accept this apology? I mean, no, because I just don't think that what he said was really all that forgivable. So I'm not going to accept it. What about you?
Ooh, I am going to accept it. Okay. Because I do think he's sorry. Now, is he sorry that there's all this kerfuffle around him, right? Yeah, or is he actually really sorry for... That's the piece I don't know. I don't know if he's genuinely sorry for what he did or if he's just sorry that he's catching so much heat, right?
Yeah.
But the apology did sound sincere. And I do believe I'm going to just say Ambien. I do believe the Ambien story, right?
Yeah.
That maybe your secret feelings... you made public.
Yeah.
Right. Does he think that? Sure. Right. Would he act on that is the bigger question. Would he remember that, like, and, I guess it would be situational if it's a Harris supporter that's like, my neighbor's playing really loud music. He might not be acting on that complaint. But if it's a woman that's getting beaten, he probably would act on that, hopefully, right? Here I am making shit up left, right, and center.
That's what we would hope that he would do. He would come to the aid of those who truly needed it.
Exactly.
Do we know that? We have no idea.
The humanity would win out over, basic humanity would win out over politics, right?
And that is your natural optimism and the fact that you're a good person saying that.
It's the best person.
My natural pessimism and the fact that I'm a bad person says I don't
believe you're not a bad person. You voted for Harris. You can't be a bad person.
So do you have a who's sorry now or an apology expected this week?
So I have an apology I had an apology expected. However, the apology came through. So, and it is relevant and allow me to share this story with you.
So you won.
Well, it bubbled up on all things Twitter. And so there's a Broadway star named Nicolette, I'm not going to pronounce his last name correctly, Scherzinger, right? Or Nicole Scherzinger. And she's starring in Sunset Boulevard.
Okay.
Right. And for those of you who may not know, Sunset Boulevard is an old movie that's we use the word campy, it just means kind of silly and funny, right? And a gay cult favorite, right? It's a cult favorite, but a lot of gay people are like, oh my God, Sunset Boulevard, I live my life by it. And so the show has a big gay following. And Nicole has a big gay following. So on Twitter, Russell Brand, who is a comedian,
sort of,
who is no longer very funny in my world, used to like him, who was a left, kind of edgy, in-your-face comedian. And he was married to Katy Perry for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
So he was a name, if you're not familiar with him, world. And then he kind of stopped being a name.
Yeah.
He's become a right-wing Christian.
Ugh.
Right?
Terrible.
That's where the money is now, Russell. I mean, I'm not buying your conversion to Christianity. I think it's all a scam because he's on social media selling things now. Right? You can buy this thing, and I'm using these health tablets, supplements. So great. So he's talking shit. Fine, make that money. Okay. So he was online and he was holding up a red hat that looks like a MAGA hat, and it's the same lettering, the same font, so it's a red and white hat, but it says, instead of "Make America Great Again," it said "Make Jesus First Again."
Ugh.
Right? And Nicole responded to that tweet and said, "Great hat, where do I get one?"
Oh my God.
Now, it is not a secret that she's a Christian. I don't know if she's born again, but I probably, right?
Yeah.
Regardless, it's not a secret that she's a Christian.
Okay.
But where people got upset was oh, you're supporting Russell Brand, who's a MAGA 100%, right? As well as evangelical Christian. And so, people got really mad, and I was like, oh, she's going to be apologizing. Here's her apology. I deeply apologize for the hurt caused by my recent engagement with some social media posts. When I commented on these posts, I made the mistake of not realizing that they could be easily interpreted as being politically related, and I apologize to anyone who understandably reached that conclusion. Many presumptions are being drawn which do not reflect who I am, what I stand for, or who I voted for. Many of the marginalized communities feeling hurt and concerned by the results of the presidential election are people I care about most. I stand with them, as I always have, throughout my life and career. If you know me, you know that. Like so many others, in times of adversity and uncertainty, I turn to my faith. I believe that the posts I engaged with were about encouraging people to choose love and faith, putting Jesus first. For me, Christ embodies peace, compassion, hope, and above all, unconditional love, especially for those who may feel it the least right now. I come from a place of love, and I will always support values that bring us closer together. It is so important to me that we come together with compassion and love one another more now than ever. Nicole. I mean, A+, lady. I could not have written a better apology for you. I would have written something like, me sorry, don't hit. So, yes, again, right. Very well done. Great apology. That was my apology expected, but she didn't even cough one up. She crafted one.
Yes.
Before I could slam her for not apologizing. All right, what about you? Apology expected, or who's sorry now?
I have an apology expected from Rudy Giuliani, who is refusing to turn over items that were supposed to be handed over last week to begin paying off a $148 million judgment to two former Georgia election workers who Giuliani had defamed. Among these items are a signed Joe DiMaggio jersey, 26 designer watches, a vintage Mercedes-Benz, and a house. On Thursday, the judge set the latest final deadline, brushing aside repeated arguments that the possessions should remain with Mr. Giuliani while the case was under appeal. By the end of next week, the judge said Mr. Giuliani had to either hand over all the items or he could face civil contempt, a charge that could carry severe penalties, including possible jail time. I mean, just put the fucker in jail already, for God's sake. That's my opinion. But, I mean, he's gotten so many second chances. Put him in jail. He should apologize. He won't. But I would be very surprised if he apologized. But I think we deserve an apology from Rudy Giuliani, especially the Georgia election workers deserve an apology.
He was asked this week by a reporter, while he was standing behind a microphone, right? If he was sorry for defaming. And he said, no, he wasn't. And his attorney jumped right in there.
Oh, my God.
And shut that shit down, right?
Yeah, I bet.
And and those ladies are probably never going to see a dime.
Probably not.
He's going to drag his feet until Trump's in office, and then whatever it is they're going to do.
They're going to pardon him or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. The world's on fire.
Yes, it is on fire. And on that note,
that's
we will
where
leave you.
Self-care.
That's right.
Make all the pear tarts you can. Roasted turkey.
No one else will.
Well, okay. Hold on. Wait. No. Take care of each other.
That's right.
But take care of us first.
Yeah, that's good. I'll take that. All right, so don't trip potato chips. Stay cool, cucumbers. I forget which one I'm supposed to say. Stay cool, cucumbers.
We're going to love you and leave you. That's my new sign off.
All right, that sounds good. We'll be back probably next week. See you then.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.